Moin moin and hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Donboxing. And today for you I have something that I got during the 11/11 sale because I did need some new things for review and I ordered myself the NiceHCK NX8. Yep, this thing clocks in at I think $200 before discount, and if you get it on sale, what did I pay now? I think like 140 euros, so give or take $160, something like that. And yeah, this thing is a 1DD 6BA 1PZT driver, and the configuration internally here is set DD for the lows, 2 BAs for the mids, 4 BAs for the two BAs for the mids, it says here, 4 BAs for the high frequencies, and ultra high is piezo, the piezoelectric here. And yeah, it goes for this stary optic, and today we just unbox it and see basically then the first impressions, what this thing can or can't do. Yep, first, let's open the plastic here. Oh, there's one obscurity already with the IEM. Somehow this came with an additional cable. Maybe we quickly check that out. Or maybe it's the original cable. I honestly don't know. I didn't look too much into detail. But let's see first what cable we are getting with this here. First, let's directly unroll it and see smoothness. Is like a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. It's not super smooth out of the box. Let's stretch it a bit, see if it gets better. Yeah, a bit stretched, totally better. So the cores itself here, as you can see, 2 thicker cores, and this has this like, I think there's a red weaving inside it. Interesting looks, I have to say. It's like not exactly copper, it's a bit more red than that. And we have this angular plug here at the bottom. 4.4 Pentacon, as you can see. Strain release, a bit above that, is soft, does release some strain. And then we go further up here. The splitter, again, it follows this style here, and I do like this. This is definitely unique. I don't think I've seen other IEMs having an like connector or this like not hexagon, like irregular octagon maybe. So I do like this optics. And then further on top, now tangle a bit here. Let's untangle it. Those are the 2 cores on top. I think this is the exact same thickness below, so definitively on the thicker side. But I do like that this is just 2 cores, so there shouldn't be any weirdness with texture over the ear. And the chin slider here doesn't do shit. Like literally just shaking it a bit is when it is shaking down. So you can see here, just shake a bit, it moves. Totally useless, but okay. Ear hooks themselves. I think we get one that's a bit better visible here. Bending radius is average, I would say, not too big, not too small. Rubberization though is definitively very heavy-handed here. This is among the thickest rubberizations I've seen on ear hooks. And oh yeah, boy, this is super springy. So if you have a bigger ear, this will definitely lead to discomfort. This is it's a bit too springy, it's a bit too stiff overall. Though again, the octagon, irregular octagon, it looks cool. Like this is definitely a cable that is pretty stylish. And let's check the other side if we get a color indicator. Nope, no color indicator. L&R Legends, let's check them out here. White on and dark gray or like blue grayish here. That's well readable. I still would prefer a color indicator here at the bottom. And as you can see, the 2-pin here is also done for recessed IEMs. So you can basically use it for any 2-pin IEM out there. Okay, but this is the cable that I got with it. And I still, as I said, I don't know if this is the official cable or if it just got thrown in my box because I have no clue. And the IEM itself here actually says it's 3.5 millimeters. So I guess I got this additionally, question mark? Information-wise, the general specs here at the back, and you can see also the kind of exploded optics here. You can see how the configuration is on the inside. And on the front here, it has the starry optic. Oh, actually, this is pretty. I like that. Usually when you have this on the outside, the inside doesn't have so much attention to detail. But here we do get this. Again, starry optic, and it's sparkly. Yeah, I do like this. And then let's see how it opens. Oh, it's a box like that, so we need to shake it a bit. Okay, I need to shake it thoroughly. It's definitively a bit tight, but it's manageable. And then on the inside here, we do have our IEM. And then the accessories beneath. Let's remove the additional protection here. Check out the accessories. First, I would say, let's see our carrying case here. This is a really chunky boy. Let me just get my mouse so you can see as comparison. Essentially almost the length of my mouse, and it's a bit thicker than my mouse as well. So if you like yourself big carrying cases, yeah, that's going to be for you. I prefer them a bit smaller because I usually throw them in my backpack or in my purses, pocket I mean. So a bit smaller is better for me, but yeah, this should give you enough space for the IEM and accessories. And then again, this is this fake leather optic where nothing is stitched. These are all fake stitches all around again. We can actually see again some glue here on the top. It's not too bad though, and at the bottom as well. There's some glue visible on the seams, but it's not too bad overall. Structural integrity, pretty good. It's just a bit floppy around the zipper, that's normal. Zipper is gold, not my type of style, but okay. And then we open it, and oh, there's some replaceable nozzles here on the front. Okay, yeah, I think this, oh, actually this is different nozzles, no, it's the same. So these are the same nozzles, you just get some replacements. Interesting. And then on top we do get a mesh for accessories, we do get a cleaning brush, nice. And actually we do get a separate cable here, so I did just get the other one for free essentially. Again, remove this. And this is pretty similar in terms of overall structure, so I'm not going to look at this in detail here, but maybe just a quick comparison. Let's get the cable back in here. Wrong cable, oops, wrong cable, wrong IEM. Wait, where did it go? Ah, here, beneath the box, okay. Let's just have a quick comparison with what I got additionally and what they said, what is with the IEM here. So additionally, yeah, definitely it has this red woven inside. Looks a bit cooler. Here you just get something silver. The cores are a bit thinner, but overall this cable feels smoother, I can tell you. Like, let's still like untangle it a bit and see how smooth it is in reality. Because just from feeling it, it is a bit of the softer side. Again, we don't want to be unfair, so we stretch it. Actually, it's still bending a bit, so, but, yep. Yeah, no, it is definitely a bit more bendy overall. And again, strain release here is similar. This is not as well grippable because, yeah, this texture is not big enough to actually hold it. And the cores are thinner, as I said. Let's go further up. The splitter here does fit the style though. And then further up, the cables are, again, the same thickness overall. And we have a chin slider that, again, doesn't really do much. Rubberization of the cable that you get with this one is about the same thickness, so heavily rubberized. Not as springy as the other one, so actually, wait, this is different. Let's have, oh yeah, this is different. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is definitely harder rubberized than this one here, as you can see. That's why this is very springy, and this one actually not so much. So I think comfort-wise, this should be the better cable. Oh, and also I just see it has color indication for L&R. Like to see those. So yeah, overall, I think the included cable of this is fine. But at this price point, honestly, like, why don't we get one with a replaceable terminator? That would be even nicer to see. Next, let's check out the included ear tips. Carrying case for it, I like to see that. When we open it. And here we get a random set of silicone tips, like these here on the side. Whatever that is, it's just a random set of silicone. But we also do get NiceHCK's liquid silicone ear tips, which do remind me of the Rose Technique ones very strongly. I think for the review of this IEM, I will also take a look at the ear tips separately, because this is also what you could buy separately, and check out if they're actually identical to the Rose Techniques ones. And then, let's say a few more accessories. Nope, there's nothing else beneath. So now let's come to the IEM. And flip this out. IEM out. And first let's remove the ear tips here, so we can have an actual look at the IEM and get everything out of the picture, so nothing is disturbing us. That's the IM here, and it still has a protective film on top, which I won't remove for this. But yeah, I saw a review that said it looks a bit cheap, and actually in reality it does. I don't think this like fake metal around it here does help its optics. I think it would have been a bit nicer if it would not have been fake metal, but also the actually starry or universeness inside it lacks pizzazz. It's a bit too flat. It doesn't really sparkle. There's no depth to it. Definitely have seen nicer faceplates overall. But what I do really find interesting with this one, it's super small. Like, wait, let me just get another IM in. Here, let's get the Uzier Defiant in. You can see in comparison, this is 1DD, 4 or 3 BAs, I forgot exactly. But see how much smaller the NiceHCK NX8 is here. Even in depth-wise, this is a pretty damn small IM. Though it's pretty heavy compared to the Defiant here, I would say. Defiant, even with the cable, is about the same weight overall. So yeah, I mean, they need to put the drivers somewhere, right? But yeah, very nice and small overall. And also the insertion here is relatively short, which... not too short though, if I just see it from the side here, it still inserts a bit through the actual IM shell. And as we also said before, you can replace these nozzles here. Optic-wise, the nozzle reminds me of something that you do get with the ISN H40 or some other IMs. They're very similar nozzle, but this here should be replaceable. Oh yeah, that you can just screw it out. So maybe you can actually experiment with this and put some of your own nozzles on with less dampened front. That might change its sound. I could do some experiments for review. And then there's no color indicator or no L&R printing on it. It is not as far as I can see on this side here. Also a bit disappointing, the 2-pin connector here, while being flush, is not color matched, and it doesn't seem that well integrated here. Usually with nicely semi-custom shell IMs, this is completely integrated into the shell and you basically have no seam around the connector. Here not so much. It's very well visible and you can see actually the glue seams around it. So I would say be careful if you change cables with this one. This usually indicates that the connector itself is not as nicely integrated. And then pressure holes, we do get one here near the connector. We do get one here at the back. And I'm not sure what this here is. You see that, ladies and gentlemen? Is this a hole you can change the faceplate? Is this a pressure hole? I'm not entirely sure. It could be a pressure hole for VGD actually, but it's relatively big and I'm not sure if there's a mesh beneath also. So it might be that you do get some dirt inside here. Actually, there's an L&R indicator here, I just saw the printing here. Super small on the fake metal ring around this here. And also in gray on gray, so it's really not that well readable. So yeah, something color-wise would have been better overall. Okay, now first impressions for the NX8. So, first again, I can already tell you exactly what I speculated when I had this in my hand. This is a nice small IM. Fits my ear really nicely. The included ear tip is again, it's liquid silicone. It fits me very nicely. Curve with the IEM, one of the most comfortable IEMs I've worn all year. Really nicely done from them. And then the next thing that I noticed when I put this on, yeah, the timbre is pretty off. Definitely not the most natural sounding overall. I would say probably, like, again, I have measured this now when I record this, but just by ear I was even like, yeah, the pinner gain is not at 3K. It's also not at 2.5K. Definitely past that, and that makes it sound generally a bit, yeah, not that great. But it is a pretty warm set overall to my ear. The bass quality is pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's good. An insatiable high from Takanaka, I noted here, actually had a very nice overall balance. Like, there's some warmth going on, the bass is in good body, it sounds overall pretty damn good. Details though, on the first glance, for like a 200 buck IM, it's okay. Like, it's not amazing, but it's okay, and definitely I would say it lacks some lower treble to like, give it the last pizzazz that's a bit missing here, together with the off tonality. Separation I noticed on first glance was good. I can't say more. I've only listened to, at this point, like a dozen songs or so. Layering I also noticed good on first glance. I get 5 layers. Soundstage, no comment. I didn't distinguish much at these few songs that I listened to. Female vocals, I have noticed they sound a bit slightly thick, not super clear, not super clean. So definitely nothing that you would want to use for city pop. And yeah, what else did I found? That's basically the end of my notes here that is important. So overall, I would say for $200 sounds about on par, maybe slightly below that from first impressions. But yeah, that's it, the unboxing here. First impressions will have been before this because I record everything together and then first impressions. And then this is the outro. So hope you enjoyed it. Questions, recommendations or criticisms, please leave a comment. Donspektor out.